My mother said no one would love me. By Tinylittlefractures. Ever, she said. That's why when Tom came along, I was so happy to prove her wrong for once. No one will ever love you, she said. My peculiarities were too much to handle. That's what she called them. My peculiarities. She didn't want to acknowledge that it might be something real. No, not her child. Not the child of Miss Orange County 1980. But Tom didn't mind my little habits. When we first met, he even joked about how adorable it was, watching me set up the chairs for Thursday's youth group for 45 minutes until they made a perfect half circle. He laughed and kissed my hand when I would check the church doors were locked 4, 5, 6 times before we could sneak into his car. He thought it was cute. He thought I was cute. He used to call me his angel. Luckily, we were always the first and the last people to leave the church, so no one could make fun of me. It was bad enough at school. But Mother never laughed, called me cute or kissed me. She sneered when she found clumps of hair in the sink or on the floor. She turned her head and walked away when she found me rearranging the silver at 2 a.m. She told me she didn't love me, and no one ever would. But then Tom came, and I wanted so badly to prove her wrong. But he said no, we should just run away. It would serve her right, leaving a big mess like that in her perfect, tidy little world. He was right, of course. Tom is always right. So we planned our escape. We'd leave at 3 a.m. from my house, which wouldn't be a problem since Mother started taking her sleeping pills a few months ago and was dead to the world at that hour. When Tom showed up, I was surprised to see the dim hallway light reflected off a shiny knife in his hand. "It's just for protection, Angel," he said, "in case she wakes up and tries to hurt you." He was always thinking of me. We left in Tom's car and drove for what seemed like days until we crossed the state line. I waited in the car while he traded it in for a rental. I wasn't old enough to drive, let alone rent a car. Tom is so grown up. He took care of everything before we left. He even found a place for us to stay in the next state over. A few friends were on vacation, so we'd be staying on their farm. I'm not great on long car rides, but I kept myself occupied and calm by tracing and retracing the route to the farm on maps until they were perfect, while Tom switched back and forth between news stations on the radio. We've been here for about 3 weeks, and while I'm still delirious with happiness and freedom, something's changed in Tom. I thought he was worried about Mother finding us, but it's more than that. He's distant. I don't think he finds me adorable anymore. He started making a face when I would walk around and turn the lights on and off. After a month of this, he said he'd put together a special room where I wouldn't have to worry about the lights, and he showed me to the underground bedroom he made for us. I loved it. I didn't have to worry about the lights or locks. He locked them from the outside whenever he went upstairs or outside. Tom is so considerate. But after a month, he stopped coming into our special room every night. He would either come down at 3 a.m. smelling sour and falling asleep right away, or he wouldn't come down at all. I wanted to ask where he's been or if he still loves me, but Mother's voice in my head always stopped me short. I know Tom loves me, despite what Mother thinks. Just 3 days ago, he took me on a surprise road trip, waking me up at dawn to shuffle out of the car. I didn't even get to wash my hands until we got to the gas station, and I think I might have annoyed him talking about it because eventually he just pulled off the highway and let me run inside. Tom knows my hands are one of my peculiarities, and I usually need to wash them 8 times before I feel okay. He knows that, and he loves that about me. But when I got out of the bathroom, Tom was gone. I waited for almost a whole day before they told me I was loitering and I had to leave. I think this might have been part of the surprise, but I started to worry about Tom. Maybe he was hurt. I decided to head back to the farm and wait for him there. Even though he'd be upset I ruined the surprise, I found the same maps in the gas station that were in the glove box, and I remembered tracing from before, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, 3 different highways, right, left, right, then the second dirt road to the farm. And my mother said my peculiarities would never be useful for anything. When I finally got there, I was dusty and dehydrated, and dying to scrub my entire body at least 4 times. Tom didn't like me to use the shower upstairs, so I'd have to make do with the basin in the bedroom. When I reached the door, it was cracked open, with a little light shining through. I heard Tom's voice and was immediately excited. He's okay, and he would be so proud of me for making it back home. Then I heard another voice. A girl. I didn't have any friends at my new home because Tom hadn't gotten a chance to enroll me at school yet, and we didn't have any neighbors nearby. I listened at the door, thinking it was still part of the big surprise, but then I heard Tom a bit more clearly. And he called this stranger, this girl, his angel. Now I'm sitting upstairs. I just rechecked the locks on the doors for the 4th time, but I think I need to check them again. I'm certain that's why my heart is beating so rapidly. I already checked the underground door. Tom was amazing at installing several locks from the outside, so it's really secure. That's one door I won't ever forget to lock now. See, Mother thought my peculiarities would be my downfall. No one will ever love you, she said. But she's wrong. Tom will love me. Tom will love me forever.